All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday, August 5th. We got ourselves a full MLB slate to dive into in today's video like we always do. I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to all of my final plays, so what I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. In terms of how we did yesterday, yeah, not so great. We go 1-4 after, I believe, 4 straight winning days. All of a sudden, the guppies are out in the comments. Yapping, talking about how bad the plays were. Yeah, thanks, ESPN. I can see my plays, too. A 1-4 night. The one that I'm really upset about was the Dansby Swanson one. We took him because of his struggles against Lodolo's pitch mix, and Lodolo's throwing arm, right? Well, that all gets changed when Lodolo comes out in the second inning with a damn blister on his finger, so that was unfortunate. The Rays don't come through. Blaze Alexander has a hit and a run, and Joe Adell hits a home run. So, yeah, 2 guys that we had their unders hit the home run today, which is unfortunate. Our win was a good call. That was over quick. Over 2.5 for the Red Sox, Phillies, and Brewers. They all cashed that relatively quickly, so I guess that was a good look, but a lot more red than there was green yesterday, and like I said, the haters, the guppies, they seem to come out when we have a bad day because didn't hear much of them when we were on the little bit of a winning streak, right? But I guess that's just the game that we're in. Unfortunately, the ride of the day streak from Powerlift comes to an end. We both own this womp womp, my man. Unfortunately, the Rockies get absolutely smoked. You can see the ride of the day tracker has now been updated. Powerlift moves into the second all-time spot since we've been tracking, gaining 1.75 units over that stretch. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, it's simple. Just use that hashtag ride of the day down in the comments. I jump on board with one person's play each and every day. Give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you win, we continue to roll with your plays and let you go on a little bit of a streak. If you lose, you still get the shout out, but you got to face the womp womp like Powerlift did today. And it's unfortunate because Powerlift really doesn't even deserve the womp womp. But rules are rules. Let's go ahead and dive into game number 1. Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're taking a peek at the Pirates taking on the Giants. So on the mound today for Pittsburgh, it's going to be Mike Burrows going up against Logan Webb. So Burrows really hasn't been all that terrible, I will say that. He's got a 1.8 ERA over his last 5 starts. His last 2 starts, he's gone into the 6th inning as well. Actually, he's pitched 6 full innings. Logan Webb was going through a rough start, and he kind of bounced back against who? This very Pirates team, which is the same exact game that Burrows pitched in his last one. That was a 2-1 win for San Francisco. Where I'd go in this one is probably saying that flips, but something stays a little bit of the same as to what we saw, a week or so ago. I'm going to say Giants actually win this one. Don't mind the odds that they're at right now. You can get the Giants for -144. Seems like it makes a little bit of sense with a massive pitching advantage here. I also do think that they are the better offense, even though neither one of these offenses is all that special. But where I would really kind of try and fine-tune this is saying, okay, well, what is the biggest advantage for the Giants? And I do think it's Logan Webb, and I do think it's Logan Webb in his history here against this Pittsburgh squad. 72 plate appearances against, 35% K rate, 8% walk rate, and a 206 average against, and a WOBA against of 247. So why not target Logan Webb and maybe say Pirates team total under? And if you really want to give credit to Mike Burrows, who, again, looked good against them last time out, maybe we take a peek at a first 5 under. So those 3 plays, definitely possibilities here. I don't know if I'm, like, over the moon in love with any of them, but they all are kind of circling the same point here, right? A low-scoring potential Giants win. That's what I do in this one, I believe. Next up, we have Miami taking on the Astros. Miami's win streak comes to an end yesterday. They lose 8-2 to the Astros. Alcantara didn't pitch all that terribly for the... This is going to sound weird because he allowed a bunch of runs real early, and then they left him in there, and he kind of found his footing, I guess, to some degree. He did allow 6 through 7 innings, I believe it was, but realistically, like, he had a couple bad pitches watching that game, so I guess I'm trying to more so make a case for him to be like, no, he's still moving in the right direction, but in reality, you look at the box score and he got smoked, so sure, maybe I'm being like a Sandy apologist here. Today, we have Steven Okert. I think it's going to be a bullpen day for the Astros. He's on the mound going up against Cal Quantrill. Now, make no mistake, Cal Quantrill's actually been looking pretty damn good. In his last few starts, I've actually been impressed. A guy that literally was a auto fade, I mean, especially when he was with the Rocks, has turned into a decent pitcher. Last 3 starts here, 6 innings pitched, 0 earned against KC, 5 innings pitched, 1 earned against Milwaukee, an offense that was cruising, and then 0 runs through 5 innings against St. Louis. Houston may have his number, though. He has 78 plate appearances against them in his career. And when I say Houston, I mean the roster, the guys that make up the roster. You can even see it here. We'll go through it. You can see 78 plate appearances against, 11.5% K rate. That's not all that great. 6.4% walk rate, an average against of 314, a WOBA of 379. So obviously not all that tremendous on his part. So I do think Houston potentially gets to him today, and maybe this Houston team's starting to turn things around. So as much as it sounded like maybe I was kind of formulating something to look at the Marlins and Cal Quantrill, I think this is probably a Astros spot again. You have to expect that the Marlins, like, at some point fall flat, right? They had won 5 or 6 straight games in a row, and Houston realistically wasn't that bad. They just had a couple really rough series in a row. So give me them or their team total. I don't think Cal Quantrill's going to absolutely give up the boat here, so I'm not looking at, like, Quantrill's earned runs or anything like that. I think this could be that Houston maybe gets 2 through 5 or 6 innings off of him, and then they score a few more in the late innings against that Marlins bullpen. So make no mistake, this is not an auto fade of Quantrill. It's just that I think Houston can kind of get off to the races against him. And I like the Houston bullpen. If this is going to be a bullpen day for them, you know, Abreu may not go, King may not go, sure, those are late inning guys, but they have a lot of guys that they can kind of toss. You know, Sousa should probably be able to go. He's a lefty. That's maybe favorable for the Marlins, but either way, I do think that they have some bullpen arms that they can use in this said bullpen day. In terms of player props, couldn't really get to much. You can see via our dashboard here that we do like Marseille in terms of his pitch mix rating, maybe Jose Altuve, Yanier Diaz. Those are 3 guys you might want to look at some overs for. Dubon's under, as well as Dane Myers is under too. It's tough to take unders on the Miami side of things just due to the fact that, you know, obviously we don't know exactly who's coming in as the second pitcher or anything like that, but you can use that, obviously, that data however you want. Game number 3, Tigers taking on the Twins. Kind of a weird one. I smirk when I say this because I don't know how often this happens, but really, I mean, it's not his first start. It's a second start. But Chris Paddock going up against his old team like that, right? 2 starts into his Tigers tenure here. It would be a little bit more obscure if it was his first start right after the trade deadline and all that. I get it. But we have Zebby Matthews on the mound from Minnesota going up against Chris Paddock against his old team here. I think this one's simple, kind of like yesterday. I don't know if we actually get there, but I do think that there is an offensive drop-off here. I think the Tigers, even though they have struggled over the last 30 days, they have struggled recently, they're starting to put some things together, right? 2 of their last 3 games, actually 3 of their last 5, they've gone for 6+. 4 of their last 5, they've gone for 4+ in terms of runs scored, whereas Minnesota, yeah, they have some high-scoring games as well, but this is still a team that just sold at the deadline, and I don't necessarily love what they have cooking, right? So for me, this is simple. It's going to be Detroit. I don't mind the over in this game, though. I really don't think Chris Paddock, I should say this. I think he's due for some regression. He's had 2 really good starts in a row. His last start as a Twin, that was against the Dodgers. He went 6 and ended up with just 1 earned run and 8 strikeouts. Then he has his first start with Detroit. He goes up against Arizona. Not a good offense at that time. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 5 strikeouts, no walks. So, yeah, I sit there and I'm like, okay, well, he's been really good, but he's probably due for some regression. Before that, he allowed a bunch to Colorado, allowed a bunch to the Cubs. So maybe the Twins do kind of get to him to the slightest degree here. That's why I like the over. And then in terms of Cody Clemens under, it really comes down to just a pitch mix thing for me. He's batting just .233 in terms of a WOBA with a 26.4% K rate so far this season. That's not going to work. I mean, that's the fastball, against the fastball, not this season. And you're going to get the fastball, 48% of the time from Paddock. So I do think that it's a terrible matchup. Every other pitch, changeup and then all those little pitches that Paddock throws, he should be able to hit fairly well. But again, the fastball being the main pitch you're going to see like half the time, he's got a minus 5.2 runs above average against that pitch last 30 days. So no bueno from him. Give me the Tigers, give me the over, but potentially a look at Cody Clemens is under. That means you could probably book a Cody Clemens home run today. Yikes. All right, we got the Nats taking on the A's here. Athletics coming off of a losing effort against Arizona. They had the day off yesterday. Washington coming off of getting swept by Milwaukee also had the day off yesterday. So you have two fresh teams, which does worry me a little bit when we get to our plays here. But that being said, you have Mackenzie Gore, who's been very, very good this year and obviously one of the better pitchers in the league, coming off of a bad start against Houston. 5 1/3, 6 earned, 2 home runs, just 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. So that's not tremendous, right? And in fact, 2 starts before that, he kind of got shelled as well. Luis Severino's actually been piecing some things together, and wouldn't you know it, it's because 2 of his last 3 starts have been on the road. As much as I've been a Luis Severino denier this year, and I really am not a big fan, I do think that, playing in that ballpark's tough. He's had his choice words about that ballpark as well. So where do we go here? Well, first off, this Athletics team, I don't know how much I fully trust them scoring runs away from, home in kind of a AAA ballpark. So I'm going to trust Mackenzie Gore. I'm going to say Nationals. But what I actually probably get down with here is going to be taking a peek at either the first 3 or the first 5 under, or both. This is Mackenzie Gore. I want to trust him, and we're going to need to trust him because he's going to throw the fastball and curveball as his 2 main pitches, right? And, well, Mackenzie Gore, fastball, curveball, maybe not the best pitch mix against this Athletics team. 5th in terms of runs above average against the fastball, 4th against the curveball. So we're trusting that because Mackenzie Gore is so good, he's built a little bit different than the average fastball, the average curveball. Flip it over to Severino. I had mentioned how he's been very, very good on the road this year. They've hit the under in the first 3, 2.5, and then the under first 5, 5 in 60% of his starts on the road this season. And I don't think this Washington lineup is built all that well to hit the slider, to hit the fastball. Like, he throws a decently deep pitch mix, right? So I think both these pitchers could pitch well. I'm not touching the bullpens. You have the 28th ranked bullpen in terms of ERA and whip on the athletic side of things, and then dead last on both of those stat categories for Washington. So I'm not taking a peek at it under. Wouldn't even surprise me if this game ultimately ends up going over. That's why we're kind of targeting the first 5 here. All right, real quick, guys, before we do move on with the rest of the games, I want to talk to you about Sleeper. If you have not checked them out yet, listen up. You really should. I have a link down in the description as well as the pinned comment. Today, if you sign up and deposit, you're going to get a Brian Wu free square as well as your first deposit matched up to $100. And what is really cool about Sleeper is they have so many discounts throughout the day and throughout the week. For example, right there, you can see a 35% boost, right? We swipe it over. A CD Lamb, they have a yards line for him that is discounted. They also have a Paige Buckets, right? They have a discounted line for her, a boosted line. Jackson Merrill, Nick Kurtz, a esports guy that I don't really recognize, but a ton of discounts that they drop. That is why Sleeper is the best in the market right now, guys, because of all of these discounts. These DFS apps are great, they're fun, but where can we really capitalize? When we have boosts, when we have protected plays, when we have discounted lines. They do that more than anybody. If it's available and you're saying you have not signed up for Sleeper yet, you are missing out. I've been rocking with them for like nearly 3 years at this point, right? Using it almost every single day. So go check it out. Link down in the description as well as the pinned comment. It'll take you there. You can sign up. You get the Brian Wu square. You get all those discounts. You also get your first deposit doubled. Absolute no-brainer if you ask me. Let's jump back into these games now, shall we? We are taking a peek at the Phillies and the Orioles here. So Taijuan Walker, whatever the heck your name is on the mound here for the Phillies, going up against, I believe, Dean Kramer. Now, Walker really isn't great. He's kind of been consistent, though, in a sense, like, to a level of, he's going to give you 5 innings, maybe 2 or 3 earned runs. Nothing phenomenal, right? Especially given the staff that the Phillies have. He's definitely one of the worst. Dean Kramer, kind of in the same boat, I would say. That being said, when you look at these two guys and their splits against the squads now, limited sample size for Dean Kramer, only 29 plate appearances against, but the numbers aren't all that fantastic. Walker in nearly 50 plate appearances, which 50 is kind of where I would say, hey, that's enough. 47 isn't that crazy, but he's actually looked pretty damn good in terms of all of these numbers against this Orioles roster. So maybe this is a Phillies spot here. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to put on the screen. But just like yesterday, I don't necessarily hate the idea of an over here. So for me, this will be Phillies and the over. It's pretty much cut and dry due to the fact that I think Taijuan Walker can be pretty good, but at the same time, I don't think he's going to be that good, right? If we do get to the bullpens, I think that there are some opportunities to score, especially if Walker only goes 5, because I think that 6-7 inning could be still a question mark for the Phillies, but once we get late, obviously, Yohan Duran's going to come in and absolutely just torch him. But on the Baltimore side of things, like, I could see 9 innings of run scoring potential, right? Because this Baltimore bullpen definitely took some hits overall and realistically aren't all that good. So I think it's going to be Phillies or over for me. You're getting a consumable number with the Phillies, right? Like, they are the far better team here, and you're able to snag them at -130. Like, do we really think that Walker's going to be that bad. It seems like the books are thinking that, right? So maybe the over is the play, because I don't think Kramer's going to absolutely mute this Phillies offense whatsoever. Mets taking on the Guardians. We almost rolled with the first 5 under yesterday, and that actually would have panned out, which you wouldn't look at the box score and be like, oh, that was definitely a winner, because the final score was 7-6. But it was 0-0 after 5 innings. I kind of like the same thing today, and I'll tell you why. Now, we like a few things in this one, but that first 5 under might be what we're fully looking at. So right now, Ballpark Pal has it as a minus 14% run scoring index, which is obviously great, right? We have Clay Holmes on the bump going up against Guardians pitcher Logan Allen. So Clay Holmes has been decent, I guess. We can kind of throw the word consistent around with him in his last 3 or 4 starts or so, and he has in small sample size some good numbers against this Guardians roster, so I don't ultimately worry too much about him. Logan Allen maybe I worry about, but this is still the Mets, and the Mets are not tagging lefties all that well, right? So I kind of like the idea of a first 5 under. The problem with it is the odds that we're getting, right? So I was hoping to be able to get like a first 5 under 5 for maybe minus 120. It's at minus 146, and that may actually no. It's let's get the updated odds. I'll be right back. I say I'll be right back like you guys see me go somewhere or something. All right, let's look. Here we go. We're over on Outlier looking for, and I just cannot seem to find it, Mets and the... Where the heck is this game? Are we have to Mets? Boom. All right, Mets Guardians. First 5 under here. And we're just trying to see where these odds are at, right? 4.5 for plus 107 and minus 145 for the 5. So that 5 would be, I guess, what we're looking at. Logan Allen in his away starts so far this season, 56% to the under. He's pushed a couple times, but that looks pretty damn good, right? Clay Holmes, when at home, has hit a lot of overs, which kind of worries me, but we're still at a flat number against an offense that isn't all that tremendous, right? So I would say first 5 under is still something that's in play for me. Again, this cashed yesterday, even with a high-scoring game. I think I worry about the Mets kind of getting to Logan Allen, but he is a lefty, so we have that. We also like the under, but I don't think I'm going to be touching that because of the bullpens. We saw a bunch of arms go for both guys yesterday, including the high leverage arms like Gaddis, Smith on the Cleveland side of things, and then Diaz, Helsley, Rogers, Rayleigh, Garrett. They pitched a bunch of guys yesterday, so that under 8 probably isn't the move. Pete Alonso, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs is something else we're looking at, and I get why someone would be like, why would you look at that? He's at a home run, and I think 3 of his last 4 or 3 of his last 5. Well, for simple reasons, he's batting just 203 against lefties. He's one of the Mets that are struggling against lefties. Last 30 days here, he's batting 182 against lefties. And the fastball, yes, Logan Allen throws at 30% of the time. That worries me. But every other pitch, changeup, slider, sinker, cutter, he doesn't have a great rating against. So if we just navigate the fastball well, Logan Allen, we might be able to see a nice little night out of you against, obviously, a power hitter like Pete Alonso. Guys, I want to get your input. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you like the new kind of look where we have the games popping up with the team logos, or would you rather just that breakdown of the import sheet that we have that shows all the games and we track it with the arrow? I think personally I like the look of the logos and whatnot. Kind of seems like more important. You're talking about that one capsulated game. But let me know down in the comments. I'm obviously looking for your feedback and always am. So let me know, do you like the normal, the OG kind of, sheet breakdown, or do you like it when the logos are popping up? That would definitely help me out. Looking for your feedback. Next up, we have my Boston Red Sox against the Royals, and man, is this Red Sox team fun. Before we do get into that game, guys, the Throwing Gas collection, we do have Crochet on the mound today, so that's why I'm repping this, is now live over on the Fade Me store, fademe.store, or head to guybostonsports.com/store. Head over there, pick up one of the 4 different designs we have for the Throwing Gas collection. This one being either my favorite or the scuba one might be my favorite there. But let's talk about this game. There's a link down in the description for the merch. We have Crochet on the mound against Berger, right? Coming over from the Padres. I would say that Crochet is obviously, very rarely you're going to be in a matchup where Crochet isn't giving you a pitching advantage here. Berger's been okay, so I don't want to sit here and think that the Red Sox are going to absolutely tag him, but we have to imagine Crochet is going to be better. So I think the first 5 run line, you can get that right now for minus 150. That's a lot of juice, but that's over on ProfitX. A lot of other books have this at minus 160, minus 170, minus 180. So maybe we're getting a little bit of value there, even though it is a pretty juiced play. It would need to hit at a high percentage to be worth our while. But again, it's kind of got a few cents of value in general. I also don't mind the idea of shutting out the Royals in the first 3. as well as Crochet's over 7.5 strikeouts because it's plus money. 8 strikeouts for him today cashes at plus 120. This is a Royals team that's been striking out a lot. Top 10 in terms of most strikeouts, or I guess, yeah, bottom 10 in terms of strikeouts. 21st ranked, whatever, in terms of striking out against lefties last 30 days. So that's how I'd play it. The problem here is that a lot of these are super, super juiced. That's why I kind of look at, like, even that first 3 under 0.5 for their team total is minus 145. Like, the books know how good this damn Crochet is, you know? So maybe his over 7.5 strikeouts would be the look. I don't like the idea of, either taking a peek at earned runs or hits or anything like that for him because he could pitch deep into the game. The Red Sox threw, 5 bullpen arms yesterday, including Whitlock, Wilson, and Chapman, some of the more high leverage arms there. So I think that they could stretch him out if he is pitching fairly well. I don't know if I agree with that heading into the playoffs, but that's another talk for another day. So those hits allowed and earned runs, like the more and more he pitches, the more and more it's like, wow, he's pitching a really good game, but leaving him open to some wounds, right? So it might just be first 5 run line for me or that Crochet over 7.5, but we really got to pretend like the juice doesn't exist for taking that run line because that is a hefty price tag. Atlanta taking on the Brew Crew, another spot for this matchup in which I don't necessarily fully understand the odds. Now, it looks like we do have a chance of rain here and wind blowing in, so that's why that total is down there. But right now we have Joey Wentz up against Freddie Peralta. Now, I will say Freddie Peralta's obviously had a very, very good year. He has had some struggles on the road, and maybe you can make the argument struggles as of late. 2 of his last 3 starts, not all that tremendous, but those 2 starts came against the Dodgers, and they came against the Cubs. So it's like, you cannot kind of make an argument as to why that was the case, right? Now, Joey Wentz coming off of a really, really good start in his last start, best of the season for him because he pitched deeper than when he had that good start against the Yanks. 6 2/3, 0 earned, 7 strikeouts. I don't really think Joey Wentz is going to go out there and absolutely shove against this Brewers team, but I will give him credit that he looked pretty good. But even using our dashboard, which I'll show you in just a second, the pitch mix doesn't look that great for Joey Wentz. So this is probably going to be a spot in which I take a peek at the Brewers. But with the weather incoming and whatnot, maybe it is a little risky, but I'll take a peek at the Brewers. You can get them at minus 120. What was it right now? Minus 133. Like, that seems like a deal in terms of what we're getting. And like I mentioned, here's kind of what I'm looking at. So over on our dashboard found at GuyBostonSports.com, right there, head over to the members area, MLB dashboard, sign up. You can see here, cutter, fastball, curveball is what we're going to see, right? Well, would you look at this? Milwaukee, 8th against the fastball, 4th against the cutter, 7th against the curveball. All their guys except for Bryce Terang, who hits the cutter really, really well. He makes up for it, hit the fastball well. Even from a curveball's perspective, same thing. But if he's going to see the cutter, 38% of the time, he makes up for it there with a 17, I think that's 17.7 runs above average. So, yeah, the Brewers should be able to win, but I don't know. Maybe that weather keeps their offense suppressed a little bit. We saw it yesterday, right? It was a 3-1 win. We had the Brewers over 2.5 in our parlay, and we got kind of lucky cashing that one. I also don't mind the idea of the Braves team total under. This team in their offense just does not seem fully clicked. And Freddie Peralta, 68 plate appearances against them in his career in terms of the roster, 193 average against. He has been walking them, which he struggles with walking on the road here. And this is a Brewers team that walks a ton. 4th against righties last 30 days, 2nd against the in all baseball, regardless of hand. So maybe we even add this. Let's go Peralta over walks. Maybe that's something that we consider as well. That's the only angle I see positive for the Braves. Freddie Peralta over and walks, but definitely something that we could consider actually now that we even kind of speak it into existence, kind of talking myself into it. All right, Cubs taking on the Reds. This is the weird one yesterday when both pitchers left in the 2nd inning. Well, Soroka finished the 2nd inning at least, but yeah, I feel like that Swanson play got screwed. But woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda in this industry, right? Today we have Shota Imanaga going up against Zach Littell. He's going to be making his first start as a Red, coming off of arguably one of his better starts of the season against the Yankees. 5 shutout innings, just 2 hits allowed, 4 strikeouts. He did have 4 walks, though. We should mention that, but he really hasn't been like a walk guy this year, so I wouldn't be all that concerned. Shota Imanaga, I do think, is in a good spot here. This Cincinnati team struggles against lefties. He's going to throw the fastball splitter combo. That is should be a good little combo for him. So I think in terms of my leans, I would take a peek at the Cubs if you can keep them in the minus 160s. I think that they might be worth that, but still, that's a lot of juice. Maybe a pivot to the Reds team total under. Now, a lot of bullpen arms have gone recently for the Cubs, but Palencia, Keller, and Kitteridge should be okay to pitch today because they didn't get the go yesterday. So even if Imanaga gives you a decent amount of innings, we should see a nice little 7, 8, 9 type of situation for them if they need him. Need them. Now, I like his earned runs. The only reason I like this is it's plus money, but it's explicable as to why it's plus money. It's because it looks like his odds are heavily juiced for him to pitch 6 full innings, right? In terms of his outs, over 17.5 are absolutely juiced to the moon to the over. He's going to have 6 innings now against a squad to potentially score 2 runs off him. I get why that makes sense, but I still do think his fastball and splitter combo could be pretty damn good. You could see via our dashboard here, right? Fastball is going to throw like 50% of the time. The splitter 34% of the time. Fastball and splitter, not exactly the 2 best pitches that we're going to see. And all of those tough bats in the lineup, you know, Hayes, De La Cruz, McLean, Friedel, Spencer Steer, Stevenson, Brian Hayes, really don't hit the splitter all that well. Just Andujar and Novel Marte. So I think that he could have a decent night. The problem is it's just plus money, but it's plus money for a reason for the under. And again, I think it's because he's going to pitch deep into games. So he's probably going to pitch well, but the biggest issue is that he's going to have more innings than normal to potentially allow some runs. Does that make sense? Yankees taking on the Rangers. Nate Eovaldi on the mound going up against Will Warren. I think this is a spot in which I would prefer the Rangers, right? But at the same time, why is the price where it is? Is this Yankees offense going to get going? There's some question marks in my brain, right? The Yankees end up losing yesterday in a high scoring game. I think that this one, you know, I almost wish the Yankees won yesterday so that we could kind of back the Rangers today, right? But still, I think it's going to be a Rangers spot. You get Eovaldi at minus 128 odds. I can't sit here and tell you that's a bad look. The bullpen's also 1, a better bullpen, and 2, in a way better situation than this Yankees squad. And we know Eovaldi's going to throw the heat sometimes. He throws the fastball, the splitter, the cutter. That cutter and fastball should be pretty good against this Yankees squad. The meat of that order doesn't hit the cutter all that well. I'm talking Stanton, Chisholm, Goldschmidt. And then the top of the lineup, you know, whether Judge is going to be in or out, we're still kind of keeping an eye on that. But you have Grissom, everyone that at the top of the lineup, right? Bellinger, Grissom, and Judge, they don't hit the fastball all that well in terms of the last 30 days. So maybe a decent spot here. I also do lean under Will Warren on the other side of things. He's really good against righties. There's a bunch of righties in this lineup today. And I don't know how much I fully trust the Rangers to kind of keep up what they're doing offensively. Their last few games here, 8-4, 8-3, 8-4, 6-3, 0-6, 5-4, 8-8. Like, they're batting well, but I don't know if I fully trust them to keep that going. So, slight lean to the under, but realistically, I think Rangers could just be a nice little sprinkle today. You can get right now at minus 118 a price tag for them. So, yeah, Eovaldi with that price, it's almost like you close your eyes and see if it sticks to the wall because he's the by far better pitcher here. We'll see if we get down with that, but it's right there. If I don't roll with it, it's kind of just because I don't believe in the Texas offense, I guess. That's probably the thing that's hindering me. Rockies taking on the Blue Jays. Quick one here. The only thing I can really look at is maybe Colorado team total under. We have Jose Barrios on the mound. I do kind of trust him for maybe just the reason that he's good against righties, and there's a lot of righties here. He's going to throw the sinker. Hopefully that stays on the ground here as well. You have Anthony Molina on the mound going up against him. I think that there's an advantage to Jose Barrios, but honestly, Molina's been a bullpen arm for a few games this year. Young kid. Can we really expect that much out of him? He doesn't even have good AAA numbers in his starts so far this season. 6.59 ERA, 1.91 whip. So yeah, the Blue Jays may be able to go out there and rock him like they did yesterday, scoring, 15 runs. But I don't think there's any value in taking their team total over or the full game over. So I think I might just take a peek here at a potential look at Colorado's team total under. What you can get for that right now, let's see if we could pull that up really quickly, and we could show you as we do it. Again, I think it's just a matter of saying that this offense isn't all that good, and hopefully Barrios can kind of keep them underway. Under 4.5, under 5.5, I guess that's kind of what we're looking at. But quick one here, don't necessarily love this matchup. All right, Angels taking on the Rays. We had 2 L's in this game last night. We had Joe Adell under hits, runs, and RBIs. First at bat, he hits a dinger. Good call, Ev. And then we had the Rays money line. They score the first run, and then they do not score another run. Today, I still think that the Rays probably would be the spot. I don't think that I'm going to get there myself, but for plus money, it is what I'd look at. The next 2 or 3 plays I actually do think could be final plays. First off, we have the first 3 and first 5 under. I think that both of these pitchers could be pretty good here. It's Jose Soriano for the Angels and Ryan Pepio on the mound here for the Rays. I think both these guys could be pretty good one time through the lineup, so that's the first 3, but then also for the first 5 of this game here. And even yesterday, I mean, yeah, we saw obviously the Angels kind of tack on some runs in the second and third inning, but realistically, it wasn't like just an all-out scoring fest, right? Even through the entire game. So I don't fully sit here and be like, oh my God, these offenses are going to absolutely go off. The one thing that I concern myself with, and it is a concern, and I will give you this, the sinker is going to be a pitch that Jose Soriano throws. It's like the one pitch Tampa Bay's hitting well. The fastball is going to be what Pepio throws. It's one of the pitches that LA hits pretty well, the Anaheim. So that makes it a little tough, but still, first 3, first 5 under. I'm trusting both these pitchers here. Ha-Sung Kim is an under that I'm looking at in terms of a pitch mix rating. We have him at minus 3.9 in terms of a rating here. He's going to see the sinker. He doesn't hit that all well. He's going to see the curve, the knuckle curve, doesn't hit that all that well either. So could be a decent spot here. It's a guy that's trended in this direction since, coming back this year. He's hit the under in 11 of 14 games. And on the road here, 5 of 7. He's hit the under, kind of like the spot. Now, he is batting against righties a lot better than he is lefties. Soriano's a righty. Again, just giving you kind of both sides of the story here. Still does not turn me off from it. I could see us having a third of a unit on all of those, and that comes to 1 unit on this game. Third of the unit on the first 3 under 2.5. Third of the unit on the first 5 under 4.5. And then Kim's under for a third unit as well. Mariners taking on the White Sox. Chicago coming off of a series in which they won against the Angels. They took 2 of 3 there. Seattle took 3 of 4 against Texas. So 2 teams that may be looking okay. I mean, Chicago's won 6 of their last 10 games. Don't look now, the team's hot. Seattle has won 3 of their last 4, like I just mentioned. Today on the mound is going to be Brian Wu against this White Sox offense. Their offense has been okay, right? Okay is as far as I'd go. I know a lot of people are liking them and they were hot and, but they were going up against lefties. Brian Wu is a righty. So I do still think that the over could be in play, but this seems like a spot in which, Davis Martin, who's on the mound for this White Sox squad, he should get hit up by the Mariners, especially if we see the Mariners kind of continue to hit well, right? In that Texas series, 6-4-4 and 5 runs scored. Before that, they were a little spotty. I'll give you that. And that could be a harm here or, a call of concern. But earlier in the year, they played against this team, especially when Davis Martin started, and they scored 5 and 6 out of 2 of 3 games. So maybe they go back and do that again. I'm going to lean towards the over, but I think it is a Mariners spot. I just don't really trust Davis Martin. He's going to throw the fastball and cutter. Those could be pretty good. But when it gets to the changeup, the sinker, he mixes in the curve. Those are some secondary pitches that we should see some hits out of. But again, giving that White Sox team a little bit of credit by leaning towards that over 7.5, I think it's a little bit too low. All right, next up we have Arizona taking on San Diego. Kind of shocked that Arizona's doing their thing. 6 runs scored in their last 3 games. They win yesterday. Brandon Pfaadt threw 5 2/3. JPC, I mean, technically the pitchers did what you thought, right? But Arizona knocked in a couple more. Today we have Yu Darvish on the bump going up against Ryan Nelson. Ryan Nelson, I would say by far and away the better pitcher as of right now. He has a rough start against the Angels, but other than that, 3 of his last 4 starts, 1 earned run. That one that we're missing was 0 earned. So he's been pitching phenomenally, really, really well. Last time he pitched against this squad was back in mid-June, and 0 earned through 5 innings. He did allow, I think it was 6 hits and a couple walks, something like that. So maybe that's a little dicey. But Yu Darvish, to me, already has the experience against this Arizona squad, and 3 2/3 he got hit. That was one of his first starts back, if I'm not mistaken, right? So to me, this is probably a spot in which we look at the Diamondbacks, but I think both pitchers may be a little bit more primed than we think against these 2 offenses. So if we take a peek at the dashboard again, guys, GuyBostonSports.com, head to the members area. Slider and sinker from Yu Darvish. Slider and sinker, not exactly the best pitch mix here for Arizona to hit. We see fastball and cutter making up a lot of this pitch mix. Check this out for San Diego. So though both these offenses seem to be rocking and rolling, I don't mind both pitchers having a good outing. The only reason I don't look at the full game under is because I still really believe this Arizona bullpen can blow games and sort of is risky to roll with. So first 5 under, we know the starters. Let's go see them both pitch decently. Last game of the night, we have the Dodgers taking on the Cards. Emmett Sheehan's on the mound going up against Miles Mikolas. Neither one of these pitchers I'm all that thrilled with, right? That being said, both of these offenses are terrible. Like yesterday, we leaned towards the Cardinals. we didn't pull the trigger, and honestly, weren't really close to pulling the trigger, so I can't take any credit for that, but it was a 3-2 win. Does it surprise anybody that either one of these offenses, or both offenses, I should say, didn't show up? Not so much. Today, I do think that we could see the Dodgers bounce back. It helps that they lost yesterday, but I don't mind the idea of an under. I could see this being a 5-4 game. Whoever wins, sure, it's a higher scoring game, but if we can get that extra half run, which is available right now, that's probably what I'd be looking at. But that's all I have in this one. Emmett Sheehan, Miles Michaelis, anything could happen because you have two pitchers that can definitely allow some runs or get out of jams. Like Michaelis has been famous for that this year. But then both offenses have some names, Dodgers especially. How are they going to keep being this flat and not really great at hitting? I don't know. How long is it going to last? I don't know. So there's a lot of question marks in this one, unfortunately, because it is a late game and that type of thing. But ultimately, Dodgers and the under is probably all I'd look at here. But guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below. Comment 35 if you made it this far in the video. Really do appreciate it. I guess a little bit longer of a video today. And make sure to give me your feedback on the new format and the graphics and whatnot. It's something that we do for the football season. Figured we might test our luck and try it with the MLB season here. But really do appreciate you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.